We jostled along the barren landscape, with the river flowing down below and the mountains soaring high to one side.
Natural caves or man-made caves?
Natural है ये अपर मुस्तांग में जैसे वो दामोदर कुंड है ना उधर जाने में रास्ता में बहुत है कोई बड़ा बड़ा है 108 का कमरा भी है अंदर वैसे नेचुरल कैप में
ये पूरा काली गंडकी वैली और नीचे जो रिवर है काली गंडकी है।
ये जो मुस्तांग है हम अभी लोअर मुस्तांग में हैं।
हाँ।
अपर मुस्तांग कागबेनी से शुरू होता है कागबेनी को फॉलो करते हुए
हाँ।
उधर जाने के लिए स्पेशल परमिट चाहिए स्पेशल ट्रैकिंग कंपनी से
हाँ।
लेना होगा उसको 10 रोज को परमिट को $500 लगेगा
और
तो 700 था अभी थोड़ा कम कर दिया
एक आदमी का नहीं तो पूरा ग्रुप
एक आदमी का
और ये रूट मुश्किल है या
रूट तो मुश्किल नहीं है ठीक है
मगर बहुत डिफरेंट होगा देखने के लिए
वो रेस्ट्रिक्टेड पार्ट है
हाँ
इसीलिए उधर ज़्यादा लोग नहीं जाते हैं किसी को कल्चरल थिंग्स और मोनास्ट्रीज ऐसे देखने का है वो जाएगा ज़्यादा जर्मनी लोग तो कागबेनी विलेज नीचे है अभी थोड़ा 2-3 मिनट के बाद
नहीं वहाँ
मोनास्ट्री है नाम बोला है ना
Monastery.
There is a Kagbeni village further down, and there in the distance is a monastery tucked away on top of a hillock in the middle of what seems to be nowhere. Kali Ghandaki river runs way down below. This area is called the Lower Mustang. While we stop to accommodate another passing vehicle, one gets a view of the Kagbeni village below and the enormous uprising mountain right above it. This is the same mountain we had seen earlier on, with both the caves and the zigzag trail above. Kali Ghandaki was silvery below.
Yeah, they can just change the Masangi into Kali Ghandaki, it's gone, finished.
ये हुन्छ काली गण्डकी कहनु दिदैन म भनिदिन्छु
One side of the river was beautifully cultivated. We would go down all the way to the river and actually cross the Kali Ghandaki, something we didn't know at this point. It's actually a relief to see some of these landscapes in a still picture as opposed to the jostle of the drive. But then the drive has to be experienced. How else would we remember how bumpy it was, how rocky, and how gusty? The winds were very strong. It was almost tunneled through this valley and blasting in our ears as we rocked our way forward. Every place we've been to, at the highest of our heights and the lowest of our lows, we've seen ravens. Somewhere further up ahead is Dhaulagiri. The river bed was astoundingly wide, especially for something high up in the mountains.
ये आगे एकली भट्टी है वहाँ पे पहला एक ही छोटा सा चाय का दुकान था
हाँ।
इसलिए एक हुआ तो एक भट्टी को चाय का छोटा दुकान पे भट्टी कहते हैं
हाँ।
ये जगह को नाम भी एकली भट्टी रखा
एकली भट्टी रखा
एक ही का नाम तो बहुत बनाया
या नीचे यहाँ नहीं तो उस तरफ ये वाले
एकली भट्टी
Ekle Batti. This is Ekle Batti, a place where there was once only one tea shop. We were rapidly descending to her, Kali Ghandaki. She is the one famous for having so many shaligramas in her riverbed. Shaligramas are ammonite fossils, fossils of an extinct marine crustacean that are specifically found along this Ghandaki river. That particular fossil, the shaligrama, is an embodiment of Sri Mahavishnu and is extremely sacred. The road leads us further and further down towards the river. The oncoming vehicles are coming from Jomsom, from those who have landed there by flight and are driving up to Muktinath. We are now crossing the riverbed by jeep. How much of this we can traverse by vehicle and how much on foot we don't know as yet. It all depends on the flow of the river. Here of தண்ணி நிறையவே ஓடிட்டு இருக்கு. Deceptive, but it's fast. ये हमारी शायद हमारे पैदल का रास्ता.
पैदल से रास्ता इधर ये ब्रिज का रास्ता है पूरा
शेर மாதிரி போயிட்டு இருக்கு. Look at the formation.
So fast, no? I realized it's so fast.
I'm fascinated by the stories of movement and thrust that the rocks have to tell. There is a thing here. The jeeps don't cross the river. So you have to get down on one side from your jeep, cross the river on foot, and then negotiate and get into another jeep on the other side. This is the Ghandaki river. This is really a very sacred place. There must be 1,000,000 shaligramas present in these rocks. Like everyone else, we dismount and we have to cross this fast flowing river. Many people who have crossed are waiting for a ride. Our luggage is unloaded and it has to be carried across to be reloaded, just as other people's luggage is ferried across here. It is slushy, as one can see, and one has to step very carefully over the slush and rocks so that one's foot does not slip and sink into the mud. When we came to the actual water where Nadi Ghandaki rode, we took a moment to pay our respects to her before we set foot across. We even encouraged our guides to do that. After all nadis, rivers, are sacred to us. They are the source of life and sustenance. And for us, in Bharat, nadis are goddesses. Each goddess bestows upon us many, many blessings. And so, with great reverence, we paid our respects and proceeded across the swift, muddy, treacherous looking Ghandaki. It was all laughter once we were on the other side. What an experience it had been. With one last look back, we were handed over to the next crew of drivers who would take us to Jomsom proper. And hit the bell for notifications